Okay, y'all, my computer cut off again. That's because I went from doing a 5-minute video to doing now what is 4-part video. And why? I zoomed out a little too. Why? I have my husband's cross on just because I took it off so that when he went into surgery. But anyway, that's why I have 2 crosses on. Look, they're identical. His is gold and mine is silver. Because we actually did have 2 matching gold ones, but at one point I gave one to my daughter Michelle, and I don't even know if she wears it. That thing's like precious. You better wear that, girl. Because that's been through my whole life of trials with me. And then when I gave that to her, I went and got another one. But then I turned around and gave it to my oldest granddaughter when she got born again, Heather. And I don't know if she wears it. Girl, you better wear that thing. I had it on. I can remember when I would wear it, I would always just hold on to the cross when I was going through something. I know it's just a piece of jewelry. But anyway, it's very sentimental to me. But I may go get another gold one to match my husband's because I have gold and silver jewelry. Now, anyway, so we were talking pretty serious in my last video about just the things we go through in life and why is there trials and why is there suffering and all that kind of stuff. And what I would say to you is, and this is going to be tough to hear, so I hope you can hear this. And of course you can say, well, but that's your opinion, and you're absolutely right. It's what I have learned in life. If I'm older than you, you want to listen to me. Why? Because older people are what? More experienced, so we're wiser. That's all. I didn't start out smarter than you. I didn't start out, it's just I've been through more life just because I've been alive longer. Learn from that so you can learn without having to go through it like I did. Even though I do think people just have to go through it to learn it, personally. I do. I think they have to. But anyway, but what I would say is I wanted to finish this conversation if you're wondering, do you have any makeup for us? Do you have any jewelry or handbags to talk about? No. This is a chat, I guess, at this point. I'm still going to call it part 4 here. If this will make you feel better, I'll do like a little makeup blending while we're talking. But one thing that I will say is when I have gone through trials, I was telling y'all that you do need to learn to find friends. And if you say, well, if I can't, Beth, comment below or go to my DM and tell me about why you feel you can't. And I will help you figure that out because you do need friends in life. God made us to have friends and to not go through life alone. And here's the thing. The people I'm closest to are the people I've been through the most with. Now, you tell me if you agree about that, by the way. Why? Because, for one thing, I opened up to them. So I shared part of me with them. I was vulnerable with them. And so, we're closer. Why? Because we know each other better. The real us. Second of all, what I would say about trials is, when people say, well, I've heard people in the church say, God doesn't send trials, only Satan does. If you want me to comment below, I'll tell you where God has absolutely sent trials in the Bible. Some of which Job was a perfect example of where God did not send it, but he allowed it. Yes, that is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I think, that Satan himself, not a demon of any other, Satan himself went to God and said, this guy, you think he has so much faith in you? He wouldn't if he had enough trials. And God said, I have faith in him. Now, let me tell you something about that. Would you want to be the person that God has faith in? Wow. No wonder we talk about Job. Yeah, go read about his person before you read about the trials that were allowed and how he responded and how his friends and family responded and how he went to God and he had a tough time and God set him straight again as much as he loved him and as much as he believed in him. It's really amazing that God would say, hey, stand here and take this like a man. Where were you when I made the ocean? He reminds him, hey, I am your God. I am here for you. I love you, but don't ever diss me. And not that Job was, but maybe he had a moment of lapsed faith and you think, well, you gotta be fair. Sometimes I think we raise our adults as babies. Like, you don't want to let go of them being babies, and so even into their adulthood you still treat them like babies, and so they act like babies even as adults. Don't do that. God didn't do that with Job. He didn't say, oh, I'm so sorry you had a tough time. He said, look, I believe in you. That is a huge honor, first of all. Second of all, don't ever question me in the sense of that you think there's something I don't know, or you think that you think I don't know about your trials. Do you think that I don't know you or what to do about it? Where were you when I made the earth, when I decided how far this ocean would go? And he kind of reminds who he is. And this is a loving thing. This is not a bad or mean thing of God. People go, well, God was so mean. No, he wasn't. He was. How would you like it for God to talk to you and say, hey, let me talk to you about who I am? It's like, me? What an honor. Even for him to set Job straight. And Job was like, I'm so sorry, Lord. I had a split second. I screwed up. I was weak. And he's like, yeah, don't do that again. He didn't say, oh, I know that happens. He said, don't do that again, Job. I'm here to keep you strong. I'm here to keep you encouraged. I'm here to love you and tell you how to be, not just say, oh, it's okay. Y'all, that isn't necessarily a loving response. Now, I don't know, there's times that we should be empathetic, compassionate, and loving and caring towards our friends. But sometimes, and I don't mean tough love and be tough with them. I mean, sometimes the most loving thing you can do is bear the truth in love. Carefully. Watch your tongue with it. Ask the Lord to help you deliver it. But sometimes that's the best thing to do. Certainly if you've been in an alcoholic situation, in an intervention situation, you know, they don't say, oh, we understand why you drink. Is that helping them? Maybe for 5 minutes, but after that, you have to say, these are the things that you're doing when you get drunk. You're ruining your life. You're ruining the lives around you. That's what interventions are. And it's tough love and it's in a caring way, but in a loving way, saying, hey, we want you back. We want to help you. We want you to break free from this. And that is love. So don't confuse that if somebody doesn't say, oh, we're so sorry, pat on the back. Mommy, sometimes you're too busy taking over the discipline and you think that you're being soft and you think that the father is too harsh or whatever reason that comes out like that. Sometimes it needs to be a little more harsh. And I don't mean unloving or abusive in any way, so don't take it to the extreme. But sometimes the best loving thing we can do is, I'll never forget once watching one of my nephews, my niece, no, wait a minute, who was it? Brother's daughter-in-law. Anyway, she fell down. Well, she was running back and forth on the pavement, and her mother was just like, and I'm like, okay, that child's gonna fall. And they kept trying to, keep her from it. And I was like, what you need to do is discipline her and tell her to stop running. And then I thought, nope, I would just let that child fall. And it's like, what if they skin up their knees? It's like, then they won't do that again. But I'd be right there close by to help them. And she did. She fell and she got up, and I thought, gosh, I hope they tell her, don't run on the pavement again. Look what happened to your knees. Then wrap your arms around her and help her through that process of getting her back to on, getting her clean, and getting her to starting back to the road of healing. So what does all this mean? Well, let me just tell you. Sometimes, yes, God sends the heartache, the trial, the thing that we go, why would this ever happen? And sometimes there's a challenge from the evil side, and God says, I'm going to allow this. Either way, whether God sent it or he allowed it, doesn't even matter. The point is he is there to get you through it. The point is he has purpose in it and can turn it for the good, and that he can draw you close to him because of it, and he can draw you close to other human beings because of it. Like I said, some of the most dear friends and the most loving relationships I have are those that I went through tough trials with, and I would have not possibly otherwise had that kind of a bond with them had we not gone through a tough trial together, gone through a friend while they went through a divorce together. I'm not saying God causes divorce. That's man. Sometimes the things that happen to us are because of our own choices. Life is about our choices. But even if we make a wrong choice, y'all, wrong or right choice, whatever the reason is for why we choose what we choose, God is there to walk us through it, forgive us if we make a wrong choice, praise us if we make a right choice, but that's, friends are good for that too. I mean, when he brings friends into your life, that if you are going through a very happy time, a joyous time, there's something really sad about that when you don't have anyone to celebrate it with. That you don't have your friends, or I'm so happy for you, whether it's a wedding or a promotion or just, you know, you had a personal goal and you met it, or just it's a beautiful spring day and you just want to share with someone that you're so thankful for such a beautiful day. I mean, it can be so many things, y'all. And I guess what I'm trying to say by this last video is God is God, whether he allows or sends tough times. It doesn't mean he loves you any less if he allows it. Matter of fact, it may mean that he loves you more. He's teaching you something you could not otherwise learn. He's not here to make your life here on earth comfortable, because this is broken, fallen world. He's trying to get you straight for a relationship with him to go to the next world, which is perfect. And he's driving you to that place, and he's making you a stronger person in your faith and your person, and more like him when he hones you. You know, it's just like when you take a tool and you have to put it under fire and beat it into, you know, like a sword or something, and you have to beat it into the shape that it needs to be in to be useful. And yet in the end, it's this beautiful piece, and it's very useful, and it's wonderful, and it has purpose. And sometimes that's what has to happen to us. And all the good stuff comes from that. And a lot of times when we're bored, I've had friends that are rich and have everything, so much money, and what they do, they end up with drugs and alcohol and all the stuff in the world that doesn't satisfy, and they say, you know, that's really not what it's about. It's like, no, it's not. The comfort of this world's not what it's about. What it's about is coming into a relationship with Christ and going into the world that is perfect, heaven. So if y'all want to talk more, comment below. I'm going to let this be the last video on these parts, and I love you guys so much.